Peace and blessings. This is Nubia I of the Blackberry Beauty Holistic Academy, Ancient African Healing for the Modern Sister. Welcome to the group Wild Women, or Women Who Run with the Womb. You know what, y'all? Don't mind me if I go back and forth. There's reasons for the season. I may say wild women, I may say women, I may change it, I may change it back. I'm exploring, I'm being creative, I'm just feeling, the newness of life. And I'm wanting to see what works and what doesn't. And I want to explore. So that's the name change thing. It's an exploration. But today I wanted to talk. This is our second or third instructional upload. I'm not really sure. I don't remember. But what I do know is that it is our instructional upload, and I do know what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about we're talking about sensuality, sexuality, and adornment. And today I want to talk about what's really sexy, what's really sensual, and what really makes you look beautiful and makes you glow, right? It makes you vibrant, and makes you disease-free, and makes your relationships better, and make you more prosperous and abundant, right? I know you're going, okay, well, what is this thing, girl? Because I want to buy it. I want it. Tell me about it. It's called forgiveness. Yeah, it's called forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most beautiful things that you could do for yourself. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. Not talking about you forgiving yourself is one of the most beautiful things that you could do for yourself. I'm talking about you forgiving others is the most beautiful thing that you can do for yourself. You forgiving others is the most beautiful thing that you could do for yourself. You forgiving others is the most beautiful thing that you can do for yourself, because when you forgive, you release, you let go, you take those burdens off. You just cast off your burdens. You just release and let go. And you know what? That makes you sexy, because you know what takes away our beauty? It's fear, worry, doubt, anger. It's regrets. It's holding grudges. It's being angry at somebody for something that happened yesterday or yesteryear. It's an understanding that people are human and they go through stuff just like you. And they express themselves in ways that maybe is not always beneficial to another person, just like you. And sometimes they say things that are cruel, or they be mean, or they snap, or they nag, or they're too hard. But they're being human, just like you. Whatever you are holding that you are not forgiving, most likely it has shown up in your life on some level. And on some level, you've done that thing that somebody may be doing to you to someone else at some point in your life. Even if it's not this lifetime, I believe that it was another. So that's why when you forgive another person, you actually release and let go and become the shining, beautiful person that you are truly meant to be, because you were holding on to an unforgiving feeling. Remember, you are holding on. And anything you hold on to, what does something when you keep holding on to, and somebody adds more to the pile, and you got a pile of clothes, and you're trying to carry the pile of clothes to the washing machine or the dryer, and somebody keeps dumping more piles of clothes, and eventually either the clothes are going to all fall or you're going to fall. Even though it's somebody else's clothes, you're carrying the burden, not them. Isn't that right? So when you don't forgive, guess what? I've seen people that don't forgive. I've seen people that haven't forgiven, that they are in ways that I know. Some of them are they have disabilities that looks like it's medical reasons, like being paralyzed, or having a disease like multiple sclerosis, or lupus, or all these things that make us think that something inside of us is attacking our bodies. They show up in disease forms, in other words. They show up in diseased relationships when you're not forgiving. Because when you're holding on to I will never forgive, and you're holding so tightly to the energy of I will never forgive, well, that energy, go find other energy that's just like it, that matches it. And so you bring more people into your life that will do more things to you, so you will never forgive them. See how this is not good, which means that you're going to stay in anger and fear and doubt and hurt and arguing because you keep bringing people in your life that bring up those things for you because you're believing that I don't forgive. Don't think that you can. I don't know how beautiful and how pretty you'll be if you say to yourself, I'm loving to John, Joe, and Jim, but I'm not loving to Jane. So you think, well, I only don't forgive one person. I only got one person I got a grudge against, one person. So one person I don't forgive. Everybody else I'm nice to. You know, I wish life really worked like that the more good that you had, in a sense, it was going to, kind of eradicate or let go of the thing that is not so good. I really do wish life worked that way because it would be great, because then the odds would be on your favor. Do more good than bad, right? And your life will be more good than bad. What I'm saying is that's not necessarily true, but I see something else in my life. I find that it's that one thing, because it's so deeply entrenched in unforgiveness and hurt and pain, that it outweighs, if you will, or weighs me down more than the other wonderful things that I'm doing all day. Now, if the wonderful things that I'm doing all day were able to keep me lifted, they should be able to lift up that terrible person or that terrible feeling I got of not forgiving somebody. But why does this one thing kind of dismiss all the good? And I'm gonna tell you what I mean. How many of you have been going well, you've been on the SSA, sexual adornment, or you've been eating right, or you've been doing exercise, or you've been getting up every day and doing your yoga. And maybe you did it, you said you were going to do 21 days straight getting up doing your yoga, and guess what? You didn't make it. You did 19, and guess what? You didn't do the rest because you forgot, and now you feel like you got to start over. So you complain about, dang, I wish I did those 2 more days. Dang, I wish I got it done. I'm so mad at myself. I didn't complete the 2 more days to make it 21. I only did 19. Do you see how the 19 way outweighs, the good of the 19 should way outweigh the 2 days that you didn't do it? But we harp on the 2 days that wasn't done and not the 19 that we did complete. So we feel like it was incomplete, it was a failure. How did you fail when you did 19 days of getting up straight? So forgiveness works the same way. If you do, what most of us do is we don't big up or we don't acknowledge or we don't allow the good things that we're doing to outweigh that one negative thing. That one negative thing in most of our people's psyche carries more weight. So that's why it's more detrimental to our beauty, our health, our longevity, our social interactions, our prosperity and future prosperity and abundance. That's why. So that one person, just that one person, let me tell you, I forgive everybody, but I ain't forgiving my daughter, my children's father for not taking care of us. I forgive everybody, but I'm not forgiving my mother for abandoning me. I forgive everybody, but I'm not forgiving my boss for firing me. I forgive everybody, but I'm not forgiving my fill in the blank. My best friend for talking behind my back. But it's that one thing is so much energy around it, and energy in this case we're gonna say it has weight. It's weighing you down. Anytime you're way down, you won't see it. You walk by a sister on the street, you could tell she got issues, or a woman that got off drugs after being on drugs for 20 years, and even though she's off, you could still feel like you could look at that sister and say, that woman been through a lot. It's all over her face. So that woman, in order for her to not get back on drugs again, in order for her to have a good, happy life, she has to forgive herself and others in order for her to move on. And she still may bear the scars, but at least they're healed scars because she's done the work. And when a woman does the work, Her beauty shines through in a way that is illuminating. Because it comes from here, because she's healed her heart, and her heart is cleansed and clear, so therefore she is. Because unforgiveness, we carry it in, I believe, certain areas in our bodies. Unforgiveness, I believe, and didn't read this anywhere, there's a spirit downloading this to me, that we carry unforgiveness in our body. So how do you know somebody has unforgiveness in their life? Again, I said sometimes it shows up in diseases. I said sometimes it shows up in disabilities, right? Like the woman in the wheelchair, or diseases like MS, right? Unforgiveness, these are some of the things. Let me tell you about what happens to the physical body. Just by looking at it, you might be able to see where somebody has some unforgiveness. I believe that women carry their unforgiveness. And look at y'all, I'm doing the raw food intensive. You see how big this shirt is now? But a lot of times it's in our midsection. When we have a big midsection, not a little pooch. I'm talking about something that's sitting there that you can't hide. You can't even see your vagina when you take a bath or when you sit down. That's the gut I'm talking about. And if you have one, I'm not laughing at you. Y'all know I had mine, and hopefully we'll never have one again, but it could happen again. And I've had it throughout life, or off and on. But when I would get it, when I look back now, I realized there was some part I was angry with, some area I wasn't forgiving. So it's the gut, I believe, and love handles also represent that. Another thing physically, when I see somebody who is carrying burdens because they haven't forgiven, is a lot of women will start gaining weight even in the back area. Now the back will start to get big, or the shoulders will start to kind of round and turn in. That's when I know somebody is not forgiving. When I see somebody who's always slumped like this, even though they look depressed and sad and maybe that, but they're still carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders because they're not forgiving the bullies that harass them. They're not forgiving those that trespass against them. Forgive those who trespass against me. I don't even know the Bible, but I know that there's a line somewhere like that, and I love it. Forgive those that trespass against me, and forgive my trespasses as well. Goes back again to, you can't really be mad because what you done did to somebody else on some level, maybe not the same exact way, but it's still a trespass, right? And so another way that I notice when I see a person who hasn't forgiven is severe acne. I'm talking about severe dark spots, acne that comes out, maybe bleed, pus. You need some forgiving. And that person may have to forgive somebody from way back in the day. Somebody that might have violated them, molested them, sexually just violated them. That person, you'll notice that. Also, when I see people that are not forgiving, it's people that have that face that always looks mad, or like they mean mugging, or they're upset all the time. So in their attitude, they're snappy, they cut people off. Or people who overly drink or overly do recreational drugs, or people that abuse things. They're not forgiving, so they know something's not right about that feeling, but they don't know how to get past that feeling, right? So we're talking about sensuality, sexuality, adornment. The most sensual beings that I've seen, they're happy and joyful. They have done a significant amount of work on themselves. I'm not talking about cosmetic beauty. We've seen plastic surgery. We've seen tons of makeup and hair extensions and weaves to make a person, and we look at them and go, wow, she's so pretty. We're not talking about that pretty. We're talking about pretty. We're talking about beauty that resonates and comes from a place of inner love and forgiveness and kindness. That's sexy as heck. Okay, that's sexy as heck, okay? And so you might say though, okay, Nubia, I get this. I'm following you, Nubia. You're right. What you said makes sense. I like what you're saying. I like how you're saying it. You're basically saying that forgiveness makes me ugly or it doesn't make me beautiful, and carrying the weight of the world takes away from my sensuality, my sexuality, and even my adornment, because I am really my adornment. These are accessories to adorn this, right? Okay. So you might ask, well, how do I forgive so that I can experience true sensuality, sexuality and adornment? And it's such a great question. And there's so many answers. You know, there's so many ways to explore it. And I'm just going to give some steps. The first one is to acknowledge that the hair falling out, the weight gain, the skin eruptions, which are pimples, the dis-ease, all of those things may be coming from the fact that you haven't forgiven someone. So acknowledge that, and then identify who you have not forgiven. Those are the first thing. So acknowledging that you are that these outer symptoms, these ways of showing up unforgiveness physically or mentally or spiritually, or all of them, are ways of your mind, body, and spirit of telling you that you need to forgive. Acknowledge it, and then write down all those people that are social that you have not forgiven, so you know. And then next to it, write down what happened between you and that person which made you want to not forgive them. Now, in some cases, you'll remember exactly what happened, and you'll be able to write that down. In many other cases, you won't remember exactly why you and that person was upset. Either way, write down the name, as much information about the incident that caused you not to forgive that person. Okay? Everything's being written down. Then, again, I want you to get up and literally look in the mirror and look at all the places. And actually, you can do this first and then assess from there. Go look in the mirror and identify places on your body, parts of your body, that may be displaying unforgiveness. Don't go by the symptoms or the display of unforgiveness physically that I gave you, because it's an intuitive thing. Yours may be different from the ones I stated. And take a good look at your body, since we're talking about sexual adornment. And you know what? Do it naked if you can, okay? And really look at them and say, and go from head to toe. Is your hair growing? Is it falling out? Do you have pimples on your face? Are you having excess swelling? Do your teeth ache or bleed excessively? Is your throat sore? Do you have lymph nodes that are, trying to get rid of a disease? What about your breasts? Are you happy with them? Are they excreting any kind of mucus? Do you have lumps on them? Go down your body. What about your waist? What about your stomach? Is it too big for you? Is it uncomfortable? Do you feel constipated? Start looking at your hips. Is there excessive cellulite? Or maybe, and cellulite can be a few different things, because a lot of times it's food, but a lot of times we eat the food because we don't feel forgiveness and we're stuffing down the anger. So look at all of that. Does your knees bend right? Or your knees swollen? Or your knees hurt? Go down to your legs and your ankles. What about your toes? Are your toes beautiful? Or do you have a lot of corns? Do you not even look at your toes? Do you never take care of your feet? Evaluate what you see as something unpleasing or displeasing. And then once you do that, then you go back and acknowledge that that may be a sign of unforgiveness. And then you write down all the people that you have not forgiven and what reason. Okay, write it down. What transpired, what went down, why you just pissed off at this person. Okay, because it's okay too. Because I'm definitely not judging. I've been there. I may visit that place again. And then this is your life in front of you on this piece of paper. You take a deep breath. You go take a sea salt bath, and you meditate and release and let go and cry and scream and bring the person in front of you and imagine that there's cords of light connected to you and that person, cords like a string or a rope connected to you, that person, and see yourself cutting the cords. See yourself also seeing that person in front of you and saying to that person, I forgive you, 27 times or 21 times or 9 times, whatever means completion for you. And see the person receiving, accepting, and moving forward. So meditate, take a sea salt bath, take the toxins out. When they start being released, you won't feel so, stressed out, right? And do it as many days or as weeks as you need. You might take a sea salt bath every day. First of all, you're forgiving, so you're going to get more beautiful. Most people think, well, no, I'm more beautiful because I'm taking a sea salt bath every day, and sea salt is removing dead cells from my skin. The sea salt is smoothing my skin out. The sea salt is taking away the aches and pains. On one level, it seems that way, doesn't it? But on a spiritual level, it's going to the root and it's pulling out what you're not forgiving. That's way amazing, way powerful, way spectacular, right? Way deeper, okay? So once you got your list and you remedied it by drinking lots of water, taking lots of sea salt baths, doing lots of meditation, sitting in the sun, and also if you need to write more about it and dialogue even more than what transpired between you and other people, the lists that you already have, the part that you wrote down, the names of the people, and all the things that happened, once you do your baths and you cut cords and you forgive all those people, then you take that list and you burn it in a fireproof container, and you burn it, ashes down, you burn it, you make sure that it's just down to ashes. And then you take those ashes, you put those ashes in a bag. It could be a paper bag or some type of plastic bag, and then you go to a place where the ashes can be taken out and in a sense destroyed. That could be you throw it in a field, you give it to Yamaya, the water goddess, you let her take it and transmute it into something else. You could even put it in dirt and bury it so that it can again transmute itself and turn into something else. Or you could bury in it, you're letting it go, you're giving it a funeral. You could do that. You could put it in dirt, bury it, and so use something like paper if you're going to do that, so it can decompose. Put it in dirt, or even some type of decomposed. They got all this, green kind of materials, and that go back in the ground and will, we can reuse it again, or it'll turn back into the soil. So you want to use something like that and have a funeral. Maybe invite people, maybe just have it by yourself. And I mean, like, get dressed. If you want to wear black or you want to wear white, I would wear white. Other parts of the world, people wear white during dying, not black. And wear your white and cover your head if you want to, and bring flowers and bring water for your ceremony, and bring a sage stick or incense to, smudge the place of any negative energy, and, say some words of the daily departed. All those people, you're not burying the people. You're not killing the people. You're burying their unforgiveness and the beef that you had towards those people and the beef that they had towards you. And what you'll find is you'll feel lighter, more relaxed. Feel like the burden has been lifted. And guess what happens then? You become more beautiful, more sexy, more loving, more innocent, more available, more aware, more open, more accepting, more loving. Which means you become more beautiful, more sexy, more sensual, and you are the greatest adornment when you walk down that street. And I don't mean forgiveness. I talked about a deep forgiveness, forgiving those things that have hurt you in the past, forgiving those things and people that you've been holding on to that unforgiveness for a long time. Now that's more, believe it or not, that is easier because that's a ceremony. Or forgiving yourself, maybe if you had an abortion you felt guilty about. All of those things, that ceremony will work for that. But the best way to not accumulate all the unforgivenesses that a lot of us have, right? The best way to not duplicate that or accumulate that, because it's very hard to let go of once you build it up, is to start forgiving quicker. Start forgiving right away. So if you and your spouse have a disagreement and you have an argument and you're both going your separate corners and you don't talk about it and you just have more arguments and you don't just resolve those arguments and you don't come back together in love, and every day, like they said, you go to bed angry, that's quite dangerous and it deteriorates the relationship. So I challenge you that if you are having a disagreement or trying to get some sense into somebody you love, and it's not just your love or your spouse, it could be your children, your coworker, your boss, your best friend. Don't run away from what's going on. Don't run away from the problem. Don't run away from how you feel it. Don't run away from the conflict between you. Say to that other person, I care about you enough, and I care about myself enough not to keep holding on to this, and be the first one, I am saying to you, to apologize. And you probably will get one in return. Even if you think you didn't do anything wrong. See, the power of apology. When you apologize, it makes people's guard come down. It makes people feel better about, the fact that they're upset. And it automatically, watch it, it's like a wonderful boomerang effect. As soon as you apologize, the other person wants to apologize too. And people, so you have to be, this is what's about, you want to talk about being beautiful? Beautiful people say sorry or I apologize first. Beautiful people will acknowledge what they did, even if they're mad about what somebody else did. They'll start to see what part they played in that, and beautiful people acknowledge that. Beautiful people take responsibility for how they're feeling and not projecting it on somebody else. It's making them feel that way. This is beautiful. This is deep, isn't it? This is something to talk about. This is something that we need to discuss, and so easy to fix. So don't go to sleep mad or angry with your spouse, but don't go to sleep mad or you're angry you and your daughter had an argument, or you and your son, or you and your siblings. Fix it right away. Fix it right now. Fix it today. Fix it. And you will stay beautiful, and your weight will be balanced and even, and your hair will grow tremendously, and your body will be more healthy, and your skin will totally glow, and you'll be the life of the party. Wouldn't you like that? So when I talk about sensuality, sexuality, and adornment, for me it is always about that beauty is really from within. And even though we're gonna do our next Monday inspirational upload, we're gonna talk about a lot of adorning and adornments and recipes to make you beautiful, I guess from the outside in. I'm always really talking about what makes you beautiful from the inside out, because that's what really, truly matters. So I hope you do the exercise, because I know it's going to work for you. I hope you do the work, because I know it's going to work for you. I hope you see the connection, the correlation, because it's going to work for you just to see yourself and your physical self and how unforgiveness lives, breathes. You can identify, you can touch unforgiveness. It's not intangible. It's very tangible. And it shows up on the way you look, the way you feel, the way you think, the way you talk. It shows up every single time. So, examples of people you may have to forgive that you don't even realize that you were holding some anger towards, and now you want to forgive. You might want to forgive that boss or that job. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about the forgiving the intangible. You may want to forgive that job that you worked for 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 years or less, that you hated so much, and you blame it for why you haven't lived the life you wanted and started your own business and all the years it took away from you. Forgive that job. It's not about forgiving the people. Forgive the whole entire job. Forgive the whole entire experience. You might want to forgive that disease that you got, the disease that you have, the disease that you used to have, and it keeps coming back. And if it keeps coming back, then that means that you're not forgiving yourself or the person that sparks that disease. You want to forgive the herpes, the gonorrhea. You want to forgive the STDs. You want to forgive the fibroid tumors. You want to forgive those things that are keeping your beauty away from you. So you want to forgive that. So it's not just people. It's places, it's things. It's the intangible and the intangible. The tangible and the intangible. You want to forgive all of those things. But especially the people that you love the most. Because in the end, which I think is so deep about why we were hurt in the first place, is in the end, you really don't want to be hurt. In the end, you really don't want to be angry, sad, mad. In the end, you really do want to resolve something so you can feel good. In the end, you want to feel good. And these are the steps that you take in order for you to feel amazing. Not just good, but amazing. And Yeah, so I love you all with all my heart. I hope this Sensuality, Sexual Adornment 2016 and this particular video called Forgiveness has started the process and opened the way for you to start getting the love that you really deserve because it's within you, and also getting the beauty that you really deserve because it's in you, and understanding that weight gain, excessive weight, disease, exercise, anything that shows up that you are not happy with about yourself, I bet that somewhere, if you go back, you will see that there's somebody, something, some place, some circumstance, some condition that you have not forgiven. And the moment you identify by doing the exercise, you'll find it. I would love for people to share on the group page what came up for them, meaning was there particular people, particular incidents, and what part of your body, mind, or spirit, what symptoms that you can identify that you can link directly to a person, place, or thing. I would love for people to share this. The angels gave me this today. It was downloaded. I know the information is important. I know it's relevant, and I know it's true. And I want you to know that too, and you know by doing. I love you all with all my heart. I look forward to just continuing this June intensive, Sensuality, Sexual, and Adornment. I look forward to continually working with you all. I love you all with all my heart. This is Nubia I of the Blackberry Beauty Holistic Academy, Ancient African Healing for the Modern Sister. Peace and blessings.